Now I've had the time to write together a longer rant on a topic I only touched upon in my review of Arkham Knight, namely poorly tested and/or poorly ported games released in a deplorable state. Arkham Knight is, of course, the most current and most publicized example of this, but it's by no means a new phenomenon. The same thing was done with GTA 4 when released for the PC, as well as the absolutely horrible The Force Unleashed, or the latest X game when, well, released to begin with. In short, I will not let developers or publishers get away with this shit. I realize that this is mostly the fault of the publishers in most cases. The publishers are the ones usually determining how much time the developers have to do the porting and optimization of the game before it's released. That doesn't completely let the developers off the hook though. They like talking about how they were given too little time to complete the game or whatever, but they weren't that strapped for time. The guy was told to develop E.T. for the Atari 2600 by himself in 6 weeks. That guy was strapped for time. When you've got I don't know how many months to make a port, you'd think not fucking capping the frame rate of the game at 30 FPS is something you'd be able to squeeze into your fucking schedule. Because that's where the biggest bullshit of the PC version of Arkham Knight lies. They actually intentionally stripped graphical features from the PS4 and Xbox versions for the PC release. And even then, the game chugs like an Irishman at last call, even on overpowered computers that Data from Star Trek would look at and go, is that not just a bit overkill? Warner Brothers defended themselves from this, saying, according to Kotaku, that they shipped the game in its current state, quote, not to maniacally screw over customers, but because they believed it was good enough. But they can't have thought it was good enough, because even Nvidia, the fucking partner of WB in this case, released a gameplay trailer for the PC version, and that trailer was sped up to make it look like it was in 60 FPS. How did intrepid gamers manage to figure out this insidious tactic? Well, they listened to the clip and noticed that all the voices were high-pitched chipmunk sounds, a classic side effect of speeding up video and sound without adjusting pitch. All this resulted in WB pulling the game from shelves everywhere and even removing it from sale on Steam. Good move, it seems, but even this smells faintly of bullshit. Because there's one other factor in this, namely the fact that Steam added a return policy to help those who paid full retail price for a game that didn't work. Can it be only a coincidence that WB decided to pull the game from Steam only after people started returning it in droves? Sorry, WB, but I'm not very eager to give the benefit of the doubt to douchebags who released a fake trailer to pretend that the game had features it didn't fucking have. So no, I don't buy that you thought the game was in good enough shape to release. I think you just wanted to take the opportunity to screw over the buyers while saving a few bucks on playtesting. And this seems to have become the standard for most AAA publishers. They realize that with good marketing, a majority of the sales will be on or close to the release date, so most people buying the game will not be aware of how disastrously poorly tested the game actually is, and the rest they can lure in by saying they'll patch it down the line. Add to this the pre-order numbers for major game releases, and people are just dumping money on the publishers without so much as waiting for the game to come out. That gives the companies no incentive to properly finish up the games, because the money is already made. There is also no shortage of people ready to defend the publishers and developers. Case in point, again, Arkham Knight. There's plenty of people saying it's unfair to give the game poor reviews for not fucking working, because the game will be fixed in the future. That's not how fucking reviews work. You don't review some potential future game that may or may not work in a certain way at some point in the future. You review a product that exists now. If WB didn't want to be smacked for a broken game, they shouldn't have released a fucking broken game. And WB don't need to be defended. They have more money than some small countries to play around with. When they fuck up, they should own up to it, not hide behind pathetic excuses made by people who don't even work for them. And they did. Kinda. They've promised they'll fix the issues with Arkham Knight. By September. That is the speed of a fucking government department. Maybe in the meantime I can spend my hours playing The Force Unleashed. You know, that game that LucasArts said could never ever be ported to the PC because they thought it would require a far too powerful and expensive PC to ever run. The original consoles it was released for? The PS3 and Xbox 360. And somehow, likely when the deal they had with the console manufacturers not to release it on PC expired, it magically appeared on PC. You know, that platform that it was absolutely impossible to ever port it to? You know where you can stick your games, LucasArts and Warner Brothers? Good night.